Welcome on the Hotel Podcast. It's a big pleasure having you here. We are in Munich. Yeah, it's the first time for you, no? In Munich, no?
Not the first time for me. First time for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
First time for David.
Yeah.
Not the first time for Chad.
And then straight to Oktoberfest.
Okay. So you've been here for more than only for the Expo Real.
Yeah. I mean, okay, it's our first time as a company in Expo Real. Yeah. I mean, but I've just been to Munich like 20 times before.
Okay.
Yeah.
You started in UK, huh?
I did, yeah.
So
exactly.
from UK, I imagine that you went to the Oktoberfest as well, huh?
No, it's also my first time at Oktoberfest.
Okay.
It's crazy. Like 20 times in Munich, first time at Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
First time in Germany, then straight to Oktoberfest.
Okay. Nice. So we are at the Expo Real. It's the third day, last day. I'm really looking forward to meet you and your company, Dusit, of course. I think we found the quietest place here. Perhaps there is some noise around, but we give our best.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you. I call you Champ. That's easier.
Yes, that's right.
Or perhaps you start. Tell us your full name.
Yeah. Okay. So
that I don't embarrass myself.
It's a crazy full name because we Thais we have very
especially
long
for
name.
me as a German, it's a crazy full name.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for you, but
yeah. Well, I mean, even for us, it's also quite crazy.
Okay.
So I mean, my full name is Siradej Donavanik.
Is there meaning behind?
Pardon?
Is there a meaning?
No. It's just like I mean, our names actually Thais actually come from Sanskrit.
Okay.
So it's this ancient language, and it's always everything is so long. But you can call me Champ. That's my nickname.
Yeah, I call you Champ.
So I'm a third generation hotelier. Actually the company was founded by my grandmother. This company called Dusit International now. We've been in business for the last 70 years.
70, yeah. Great.
Yeah. So quite a long time. I mean, currently we have about 60 hotels in our portfolio. We have about 65 hotels in the pipeline that we are developing.
Okay.
So in the next, I say 2, 3, 4 years, we should be doubling our size of what we have now.
Okay, amazing.
So the growth has been very quite expansive. Besides hotels, we also do education as well. So we are very, very much heavily invested in hospitality education. We have hotel schools.
So you call it hospitality education? No, it's education and hospitality.
Well,
you bring them together. No?
Yeah, I mean it is education, but in the field of hospitality.
Okay, nice. Okay.
So like hotel management, culinary arts, for example.
Okay.
We have schools, we have colleges.
Yeah.
In Thailand, but we are basically expanding our curriculum to all over Southeast Asia, for example. Besides that, we also have quite a strong, I would say, a food division. So we have a separate subsidiary that focuses on food. So from food manufacturing to catering to food retail, for example. Lastly, we also into real estate developments, right?
Okay.
So we basically develop our own mixed-use development. We have our own branded residence. So we do residential developments, office space, retail, so we are kind of...
He doesn't stop anymore, huh? It seems to be a lot, huh, to do.
Yeah,
huh?
It is a lot. It is quite a mouthful. But so these are kind of like 4 main, I would say, tracks of our businesses.
Yeah.
But everything is very, very much linked to hospitality. So we are very much a hospitality company.
Okay.
Whether it's obviously hotels operation, hotel development, to real estate, to education, to food, we have this kind of synergy or amongst them that everything is linked to hospitality because that's what we know how to do. I think that's basically also one of the best, I would say, elements of our culture, of what I mean as a Thai company. That's what we also have to provide, and I think that's something that we would love to be able to export this to other part of the world, which is what we have been doing for the last 70 years.
And how did all this started? So that's I think it's very interesting to know with your grandmother 70 years ago.
So my grandmother started the company. I mean, she was very, very, very lucky that she was managed to be able to go to America, to the States.
Okay.
Like
as a child or later? Or?
No. I mean, she got a scholarship to go to. She's actually came from a very, very, humble background actually.
Yeah.
And my great grandparents, her parents were actually farmers. They actually migrated from China,
Yeah.
to Thailand, which is actually quite normal back in the days. And then she's got a scholarship to go study in the States. And then she went and she saw these amazing hotels in New York, the Waldorf Astorias, and all the, and all this Grand Hotel. And she's like,
these are the hotels I'm dreaming of to record a hotel podcast there.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
but I think from today it's not only US, it's only Thailand, also Thailand. So,
So for her, she was like, what, Thailand should have something like this. So that's why. So it was really much her dream. So she came back. She started, her first hotels. It was very, 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 very small. It's just called the Princess Hotel. Is actually on the right on the river. It was actually the first. Interesting fact: the first hotel in Thailand with a swimming pool. And then after that,
in front of the hotel, not on the top.
No. I don't think the technology was available back in the days. And it would have been too crazy. And then after that, we kind of went on. She went on to actually develop, our flagship, which is actually the Dusit Hotel, right in the heart of Bangkok, opposite the Lumpini Park, which is basically where, this mixed-use development I was telling you about, will be. That's where it's at basically. And that basically, it was the tallest building in Thailand back in the late '60s, in the early '70s. Really one of the first skyscrapers, in the country, and that basically sets out, I would guess the new kind of era, of tourism in Thailand, basically.
Sure. Yeah.
So a bit of history background.
Yeah, and then your parents, I imagine, took over one day, or father?
My father was the CEO, for a very, 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 very long time. We did a lot of international expansion during that period. A lot of, and also another interesting fact is that we took over, I would say, very, very much famous German company called the Kempinski.
Okay.
So we basically bought into the Kempinski in the earlier 90s. We held it until the Asian financial crisis. So obviously after that we sold it to the bank, a local bank in Thailand. So for us, actually this is not really the first time we're in Europe. We've actually been in Europe back in the 90s before, but in a different disguise. Now we really want to bring our Thai brand to Europe.
What does it stand for, your Thai brand? What can we expect?
Well, okay. So for us,
we jump a little bit, but we come back.
No, that's completely fine. So look, for us, I think we bring something that is actually quite, unique into the market, right? And there's so much, like, as I would say, like, nuance, in terms of the hospitality that we provide. We very, very much focus a lot on wellness, and it's I would say, because actually, for Thailand, as a culture, whether we're talking about, wellness in terms of the spa or this more of a holistic wellness. We have all these different touch points in which we do, right? And it's not just about the physical wellness; it's also, the mental wellness as well.
Yeah.
We actually do quite a lot of initiatives when it's come to, mindfulness, because that's actually also linked to our culture as well, right? With Buddhism and everything. Obviously, for us, we don't get into this whole kind of religious thing because, it doesn't really matter, but it's really about, the whole spirituality of how we integrate wellness into what we do. It's also about food as well. In Thailand, we also have our own farm. We grow our own organic rice, for example, organic jasmine rice. And this is something that we want to. I would say, obviously, if we basically come to Germany, we have to adapt ourselves, to the local culture because because we obviously very much respect that, but we just want to see how we can integrate, some of our, I would say, what we call the gracious hospitality.
DNA,
exactly. Into our service delivery here. And that's something that is actually quite important.
And what you say is linked to an episode that I recorded a few weeks or even months ago with Ippolito Fights. So it was also about wellness and coming from Asia over to Europe and nice.
exactly.
And what is possible over there?
And we focus a lot on customers' experience. We have a whole division, inside our corporate office. We call it the CX team, customer experience team.
Okay.
And
what are they doing?
So I mean, it's just really
on every site or
exactly, and everywhere. Like for us, like to see how we can basically integrate, some of our like what I mentioned, the service DNA into the new location. I mean, but do it in a way that it becomes a collaboration. That it's not like we're stepping on other people's culture or vice versa. But how can we synchronize it in an honest, in a responsible and a respectful way.
To create a new experience, totally new experience, bringing them together.
So actually, so we even go as far as like every hotels that we now have this position in hotel, which is actually quite unique, I think, back in the days, and this position is what we call like a community management, so like a community manager. It's really to see how we can basically bring the wealth of the surrounding, right, of the community also into the hotel. So then
so surrounding also means other companies, other people,
but exactly,
living there in neighborhoods.
Whether it's food, whether we can do like collaborations, cross sharings of ideas. Whether we're talking about like even from basic stuff like wine, like local regional wines or beers, or to the local regional food. We do a lot of workshops also inside our hotels. Some of our hotels even have farms, in them, and then we basically do the farmer market. All these.
Is this part of your culture also to collaborate? Because in Germany, I'm just thinking about sometimes. You don't want to work with someone because you always see him as a competitor. So
no, because for us, we the way we see hospitality, right? It's like hospitality. What it is like it's a platform, and I think that's something that is really
your marketplace, huh?
Exactly. And I remember, obviously because even since the day of. Let's say, like when my grandmother was still managing the hotel, like everybody used to come to the hotel.
Did your grandfather help her or no?
No, he was actually in the civil servant, so completely different business.
Real power woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially back in the days.
Back in the days.
Back in the the 40s and the 50s, it was like
nice.
completely something different. Hotel is basically where community comes together. It wasn't just a place where you just go and put your head to the pillow, and spend a few hours there. But it's really this melting pot of culture of community. So for us, it's like and that's something that is actually truly wonderful. It's like why can't we basically go back to that simply? Whether it's actually our luxury hotel brand, which is
not
on the
Dusit surrounding level. It's also the surrounding, but it's more the experience, huh?
Exactly. And so so for us, whether it's like like this kind of like a luxury hotels or to like even like a mid-scale lifestyle hotels, we always do this type of activations, and it's also how for us as a business, how you can create traffic, right? And for me, it's like let's turn this square meters into revenue generating space, and then have the positioning, the brand activations within our own assets.
This is also a way to appeal the new generation, next generation, younger generation.
Exactly. Yes, that's also.
So your generation, I think we are in the same age. You're 37, 38.
I am 37. Yes.
37. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to be 38 in a week.
Okay. So I call you. You did. Okay. Yeah. So in all the Dusit Cosmos, what are you in charge at the moment?
So we're actually in charge of development.
Development,
exactly. Maybe you want to go into more details on this, so you can have your airtime as well.
Sure. So I think we're focused right now on growing the business, obviously, right? And I think in Asia Pacific that's much easier because people know our brand. And when we start to kind of venture out into Europe and other places, then it's a bit more of a challenge. But I think what's interesting with us and just the experience we've had last couple of years is that Thailand is the number one destination for tourists, right? So even when we get into locations in Europe or we get into locations in Africa or Middle East, they all know our brand. They love our brand. They've stayed in our hotels in Thailand, so we have that bit of a connection. Yeah. So our job is to really export our brand to new markets this year. Build on those markets where we're very strong in Asia Pacific, but then also look at new opportunities nice. outside of our territories. Yeah.
Great. So what do you think of German tourists in Thailand, in hotels?
Great. I mean, good customer. Exactly. You know, obviously, like, you know, like, look, Germany has been one of the biggest, you know, like, inbound market
like to
for us.
Yep.
Exactly. And I think like a lot of Germans has been to Thailand, you know, but and also, but not only has been to Thailand, you know, like once or twice, but even sometimes 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
In fact, it's really strange. I actually just met somebody yesterday who's a German that has never been to Thailand, and I was even more surprised. You know, like, I think back in the days, I was like, "Oh, you've been to Thailand?" It's like, "Oh, wow!" Like, I'm surprised you've been to Thailand.
Yeah.
I think in this days and age, I'm like, "Wait, you have not been to Thailand? Like, where have you been in the last 10 years, 20 years?" You know? Like, so yeah, and I think you know, like, I mean, obviously, I think, you know, like, I think we have everything, right? I mean, you know what I mean? As a country, you know, we have, you know, the sand, the sea, all the surrounding, you know, and now, like, you know, like, as our country also develops more into I would say, like, deeper level of tourism, you know, like, I mean, now we're not just only just selling, like, you know, the sun and the sand and the sea anymore, but we are actually, and it's funny because it's all like start with the letter S. Now we're looking at, you know, like, how can we promote ourselves, our country, in a much more deeper ways into, like, spirituality, sustainability, serenity, you know, like, all these things that, you know, like, is becoming, you know, because I think the new generation of travelers, they want to look at, you know, like, a deeper meaning into that journey. You know, it's not just about the physical journey anymore, but it's also like the inner journey as well, you know. And I think, you know, as a country, you know, I think we also provide a lot of that.
So I think tourism changed the nation, the culture a lot in Thailand.
Exactly.
Since your grandfather started 70 years ago.
So I mean, you know, like, I mean, pre-COVID, I mean, Bangkok is, you know, Bangkok was actually one of the most visited cities on the planet. I mean, you know, we basically have as much. I mean, we had 40 plus million visitors in 2019. You know, I mean, we basically matched the likes of London, Paris, New York, but, you know, with 1.5 airport. You know? So we keep ourselves busy.
What are your main topics, I would say? So I think your grandmother started the company. Your father took over as CEO for a long time. What do you want to put into the business? What are your sustainability as well? It's to go deeper, of course, as you said. So our focus is very, very much on sustainability. Also, of course, to go global as well.
Exactly. You know, I mean, our focus is very much on wellness. You know, I mean, we have basically wellness programs throughout all of our hotels. You know, I mean, this is something that is really, really important. Sustainability, of course. You know, for me, like, you know, like, look, as a hotel developer, right? We can just also say that, you know what is our aim in life? What is our target? You know, we can go from
what is the target of your generation?
Exactly. I mean,
third generation owner.
Exactly. I mean, for us, you know, like, we can basically just go on from, like, we have 60 hotels now. You know, we're, you know, small company, but I mean, okay, fine. In the next few years, we'll probably have, you know, 100 hotels. But then what's next? 200 hotels? Great. 300 hotels? Fine. Okay. But then, like, you know, how can we make the bigger positive impact, you know, to the community. So this is why, you know, as a company, we very, very much heavily invested in education as well, because we really believe, actually, my grandmother founded, you know, our hotel school, which is actually the first hospitality school in Thailand in 1993. So it's actually been, you know, this year is a 30th years anniversary, you know, because she also believed that, you know what, to have, I mean, for the industry to have a sustainable future in tourism, you know, we need to have, you know, strong, I would say, talents, right? And human capital. This is something that's so important for us. So within our own DNA, within our own culture, you know, we want to also see how we can basically further develop that. You know, I mean, a lot of our education, I would say, curriculums is also very, very much attached to the hotels operations. You know, and this is something that we want to continue further doing.
So you already have impressive portfolio now in Thailand and around. Let's talk a bit about your activities in overseas, in Europe especially, or in Germany. What are you looking for? So how can perhaps there's someone in the audience?
Look, like I said, we actually entered, I entered back into Europe as a market, as a continent. This year we opened our first hotel in Europe, in Greece. And we are very, very proud that we want to basically use this, as a springboard for the next step.
Okay.
So, for us, yes, Germany is obviously one of the most important markets for us. But we also want to look, further afield as well, whether it's, the German-speaking region, or whether it's in France, it's in Italy. Yeah. It's in Spain, for example. I would love to have something in Spain on a personal level too. Because I love Spanish food, massively, and I'm actually learning how to speak Spanish right now. So hopefully I can go there and put my work into practice. Sure. But to be honest, I think but even in Eastern Europe, right? I was in Poland two days ago in Warsaw, looking at a few opportunities. So. We really feel that we can bring something unique. Yeah. I
think so too.
The whole high hospitality. Yeah. Something a little bit, that is quite exotic. Something that is, that is obviously people, may not have experienced here before, and I'm sure we can bring a lot of value proposition. Yeah.
So you're more looking for leisure destinations or city, or doesn't matter?
Both. In terms of our portfolio, we very much split 50-50. Half of our portfolio is actually city, locations, business hotels. Whether we're talking about Bangkok, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. But we also have a lot of leisure hotels as well. We were talking about the Maldives, in Thailand, in Kyoto, for example. So, in Japan. So we are very, very, very much, mixed across the board. Yeah. And actually, we also have another subsidiary of ours. We have this company called Elite Heavens. But this is all very, very, very much just focused on leisure. So Elite Heavens is actually the largest villa management company in Asia. We have also about 300 villas, luxury villas that we also manage under our portfolio as well. Yeah.
So I imagine that you always wanted to work in the company, yeah? Dusit, or was there any?
Not always.
No, not always.
Not always. Yeah.
Okay. Because that's a problem sometimes, especially with smaller family-run hotel in Germany, that the next generation doesn't want to take over because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of.
When I graduated, I became a banker.
Life could be easier.
I was in finance for 3 years, and obviously, that was a very, very difficult time because when I graduated in 2007, for example, that was a global financial crisis, the subprime crisis. I remember starting my first job as an analyst, it's a stock brokerage firm in Bangkok. That was basically the week that Lehman Brothers and all these guys were coming down, so it wasn't a really, really good experience. Maybe it was a great experience, by the way. Sorry, let me take it back. It was a great experience for me to see all those things unraveled, right? But then after a while, I'm like, I need a bit of creativity and how I can go on about my doing my job as well. So that's why I made a switch. So it's been great 16, 17 years so far. So
okay, Are you married?
I am, yes. Yeah? I am. Yeah, and I've got a baby son, 3 years old.
3 years old?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 2 sons, 2 and 4. So
nice. Amazing. 2 and 4. Beautiful.
Lot of work, yeah. But I'm always looking forward to be home. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Back home today.
Exactly, yeah. I can't wait to go back home tomorrow too.
Yeah.
But I'll miss the wise words.
Yeah. And, how did you have any mentors during your career so far, or where do you get your creativity from, your inspiration?
I do. Yeah, I do. I actually do have a lot. But everybody really. I love learning so much.
I really understand. Yeah.
I get inspiration from everywhere, from all facets of life. For me, and this is one of the most wonderful thing about humanity is that you can continuously learn. It's also important that you also continue to unlearn as well. Because when you unlearn, then you can start making space for more things to come, like more incomings, So for me, it's all about like letting go of your, I guess, ego at the same time, but then try to be a sponge, like try to absorb things, and I learned that in all my facets of life, Even for him, I'm like, I ask him like 30, 40 questions a day. I'm like, hey, like, can we do this? Can we do that? And for me, like, it's great, but it's also important to be able to make, articulate decisions as well, right? I mean, it's and I think making decisions, look, sometimes you're gonna get mistakes. That's normal. That's a part of life. But how do we learn from those mistakes?
Sure.
And not to just hold on to it. Learn from them, but let it go, and then.
And how do you calm down from time to time? Is there something in your culture? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I actually it's quite interesting. I started doing a lot of meditation. I think meditation is probably one of the most, I would say, important activities that I think anyone can do. And again, I'm not linking meditation to religion in any way or shape or form, by the way. I mean, for me, meditation is really also about spirituality, which anybody can practice. But it's just really about pausing. And it's about like connecting, with yourself. So I actually became a Buddhist monk last year for about 5 weeks, and I went into the jungle in Thailand, and that's how I learned how to meditate. And again, I mean, for me, like, I think this is something that whether you're a Buddhist monk or not a Buddhist monk or any religion, actually. I mean, even I believe, Christianity, I think, like you can, there's so much of self-reflection, within the nuance, in I think each of the culture. And I think if we have time to maybe take a break from everything that's going on, this is like one of the worst things.
One of the worst things.
Then I think we can all find peace within ourselves, and I think that's the most wonderful thing.
We only use it for business, most of the time. But other people,
I'm not so sure. I mean, look, I completely detach myself from all the social media. Like, I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on X. That's what we call it now. Right? I'm not on TikTok or anything. I mean, I still have Instagram. But I mean, I only have Instagram, so then that's the only way that I can check what my marketing teams are doing.
Sure.
So, but even that is like, it's still, like this Pandora box, sometimes.
Exactly. Wouldn't it be a good idea to be a kind of personal brand, or to become a personal brand? A personal brand, there are other entrepreneurs, Richard Branson, Elon Musk, as you mentioned. Wouldn't it be an idea for you just to try to be a big personal brand, to develop one? In order to develop Dusit here in overseas,
Yeah,
to be more.
Like, for me, on a personal level, like no, I mean, on a personal level, I would really.
You are on the social media channels or not at all?
No, I said, I'm only on Instagram. But then that's just really just to check how the marketing teams are doing. In our properties, but otherwise, no. I mean, like I think, I think it's for me, it's just become you just become a product,
A product,
and then I don't think that's helpful in any way. And I do feel even sometimes a bit sad and a bit sorry for the future generation that like with all this AI and all this engineers that works in all this social media and tech platform. And their role, their job is really to see how they can use your attention as their community, as their commodity. These future generations, like they have no chance almost. It's everyone. It's like all this, it's marketing, like on the go, 24/7. And for me, like it's I think that's it's quite dangerous. But by the way, that's another topic beyond this now. It's just getting a little bit too deep, maybe.
The Hotel Podcast is also it's only to learn more about brands.
I love it. I love this conversation.
Also to learn more about the people behind, about you both guys. So what would you probably be if you weren't in the hospitality industry? What do you think? What would your profession, your job? What would it? Okay, you answered it, David.
A chef. Am I right?
A chef, yeah.
A chef. Yes. See, I'm right. See, you can't take the passion out of when it comes to food and beverage, right? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think, but you're also the same, right?
I'm exactly the same way. If I wasn't in the hotel business, I would have a bakery somewhere or a restaurant somewhere. We're both kind of passionate foodies.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this is also why, like, I think we get along well. But I mean, for me, like, cooking is like it's like meditation in a way,
Yeah.
And the good thing with cooking is that you can let go of this.
Yeah.
So I think that's
stirred,
something
if you cook.
exactly. Yeah. So So I mean, I love cooking so much, especially cooking with fire as well. By the way, like I have like an outdoor kitchen at home, and that's all it is. Sometimes I make the whole meal without using gas and electricity. I just love cooking with fire so much. Yeah. It's very therapeutic, and it's
also an experience, huh?
Exactly, yeah, and it's something that you kind of feel that you're like that you're in control, but then you're not in control, which is also, by the way, what life is all about. So,
sure.
Because with fire, anything can happen. Like, I mean, for me, like, it's very therapeutic. Yeah.
No, we also have a big garden in Stuttgart, so where I'm coming from, and I really like to light on the fire, campfire.
It's wonderful.
And,
I mean, the only issue that I have is that, it's always summer in Thailand, and
exactly.
the temperature is always 30 degrees. So I'm always in front of the fire, 30 degrees, and it's but I'm kind of used to it now.
So you said you will come to Greece. Yeah.
Yep.
Will you call it Dusit as well, or are there any other brands you would bring over?
Yeah, sure. No, so the property that we open in Greece is under our Dusit Suites brand. But I think the interesting thing, and I think thanks to Kunchamp, is that we've spent the last 2 or 3 years really building out our brand portfolio. So we have brands now on the mid-scale lifestyle segment, all the way up to luxury wellness, a wellness retreat brand. So I think for Europe, we've got something for every market, for every location, every type of product. So I think we're pretty open to bring all of our brands out here, really. Yeah.
What's about digitalization in your company? So is it something only for the younger generation, or does it?
Yeah, I mean,
is it part of your DNA? Because it's so amazing. It's so interesting to hear because you're a young entrepreneur, young owner of the company.
No, I think like, I mean, as
you can really live it. You can develop. You can think it new way.
As far as hospitality goes, right? I mean, we believe in both the high tech and the high touch. Both are very, very
high tech, high touch. I like it
for us. And for me, I think technology is great. It's there to make your life easier, but it's not a means to an end. I always say to the team that
doesn't make the difference.
But for me, it's like yes, leverage technology as much as we need to, but don't fall in love with it too much, because at the end of the day, it's a tool, right? I mean, one of our mid-scale brand, Asai Hotels, which is a hotel that I founded in 2020. Was
it's a separate company, yeah?
I mean, at the beginning, it was separate, but then
it was your own project, huh?
Exactly.
Nice.
But then, yeah. So
also a good way to start into the family business, huh? To have an own idea.
But then it was funded by Dusit. We wanted to have something that is actually quite different. Like our current CEO, which is this lady that I hugely admire. She actually said, because she's actually from the tech background. She was the head of IBM in Asia Pacific. She's basically been in tech all her life, and then she basically kind of, converged into this hospitality lady, that she is today. And she still comes with a lot of mentality, from back in her days. And she's like, if we cannot disrupt the company from inside out, let's do it from outside in. So that's why she basically gave a task, and it was something that me and actually my wife, who's an architect, a designer, and now she's a creative director, basically of the organization.
You know her from your childhood, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. So we basically came together, and then we said, okay, let's set up a new hotel company, a new platform. Do it as a startup, and then let's see how we can basically, disrupt, our organization, because our organization has been around for a very, very long time already. We obviously, as a company, we keep on innovating ourselves, but then we also see how we can do it in other ways as well. And this is where a lot of these initiatives, so we are basically the first platform that said, let's have all these initiatives about the community management, and we actually brought that into Asai Hotel first, and then we started to expand it into the rest of other Dusit hotels. things like, kind of like self-checking in, checking out and stuff like this. We also started off...
the idea of having a speedboat a little bit, huh?
Exactly, and it's going to like, like all the back-end stuff. Okay, you know what, let's begin a new era with a new PMS system, for example. Let's test this with this baby here because it's easier than to test it with the more older, more clunkier legacy hotel, for example. So we did a lot of new initiatives, that actually came out from that. A lot of wellness initiative also came out from that. A lot of sustainability kind of angle approach also came out from that. We became, we started our first, plastic-free hotel, also from an Asai hotel, and then we also integrated into the thing. So, I mean, it's been a very, very eye-opening experience. Obviously, launching the hotel in the middle of COVID was not easy, the worst time to launch a hotel brand when everything's locked down. But that also gave us a lot of jumpstart on a lot of new initiatives that we wouldn't have otherwise been able to do now too.
Also, what are the lessons from COVID? So that's
the lesson from COVID. I'm still learning about it to this day actually.
I know the lessons in Europe or in Germany from COVID, but I think in Germany there was a problem for people, because they all left the hospitality industry.
Okay. So this is something
very quick, and we don't get them back.
Exactly. This is something that we're also facing in Thailand.
In general, or only during COVID, or is it an interesting sector to work in, or not?
Exactly. But it's also something that it's exponentially accelerated.
Same as here.
And we saw the trends kind of going down anyway, which is weird because Thailand as a country, we always see it as like land of smile, the land of hospitality. People love being in the service industry, and then COVID happens, and then boom, it's like, why did all people
Everything
go?
Stopped.
Exactly. So now it's all about, and this is something that I think it's both macro, but it's also micro at the same time. I think also as an industry, we also didn't do ourselves a favor. We shot ourselves in the foot because we created this type of labor market that is not adaptable to the needs of the future generation at all. So the way how we basically inspire people, the way how we basically manage the new generations, or we need to get rid of all these things, all these hierarchies, all this inflexibility, and see how we can put in more creativity, into the workspace. So then people and it's a lot about empowerment as well.
Empowerment,
empowerment
to see them as co-entrepreneurs as well.
Exactly,
or to have.
How
everyone is a host.
Exactly,
feels as a host.
Exactly. And make them feel proud. One of the things we also did at Asai Hotels is that we said to I said to the team is that you're not just an ambassador of the hotel. You're the ambassador of your city, of your destination,
of your culture,
And we actually, so every time that we open an Asai hotel, we have this thing which is called like Asai Local Day, where we basically do this team building. We give everybody the budget, and we basically do this gamification where we get people to actually go into the neighborhood and go and experience the local culture. We could literally give them like budget to go to go to these cafes, go to and we did a lot of research before and we basically we give you like kind of quiz questions, like go and ask like how long has this cafe been there. There's a cafe next to our hotel that's been there for like 120 years and nobody knows about it. So we would basically give them all these pointers and then let them actually go out. We want them to actually feel proud to represent because I think that also comes with ownership, comes with accountability and it comes with in a small way self-motivation, I think this is something that's really important. So I think we need to, as an industry, we need to also change the way that we do things as well.
So now if you're opening up your first properties in Europe, I think it will be very interesting to bring over your own people from Thailand.
Yes, that's a plan.
This will be the plan, I think.
I think
makes sense.
If you're trying to implement certain elements of Thai hospitality, which are very specific, so the way we do wellness, the way we do F&B, you have to bring that expertise here, right? Sure. And I think too, if you want to provide that authentic experience, it's really difficult to do that without having those team members here. So
nice.
Yeah.
But I think that's another big USP.
Yeah, and I think so for us is we need to train more people, and I mean that's what we're doing. We continuously in terms of our education division, we're continuously coming up with let's say like a fast track program to get people into the industry faster. We have kind of like our core program as well that is really much like a formal higher education. You go through all these degree programs and stuff like this, but I think now I think the industry needs it more than ever. The future generation needs it more than ever. Is that how can we basically get and basically do this fast track program, accelerate them, get them into the job market faster, but then do it in a way that it allows them to have the accessibility to come back also into the education system if they want to, if that's also their aspiration and their motivation, to further, So I mean, as an education, division, we play around with the credits a lot. How people can collect the credits, and then so I think for us it's something that also is quite important as well.
Cool. I thank you so much. It was so interesting to learn more about you guys, about Dusit as well. I want to invite you to be a regular guest on the Hotel Podcast. So let's see this as a big update 2023. And nice. Let's see again in 2024. Perhaps already in one of your properties here in Europe. This would be nice.
Or you come over with your family to Thailand.
Or like this.
And then we show you our hospitality.
Why not? Okay.
In person.
Deal. Thank you, David. Thank you both, guys.
Thank you so much.
And have a nice time here in Germany.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sure.